Welcome dear listeners, to another chilling episode of Wicked Whispers, where the shadows come alive and nightmares whisper their secrets. Tonight, we delve into a story that has haunted the annals of American folklore for decades. A story of horror, terror, and the unknown. This is the tale of the Amityville Horror. Our story begins in the quaint village of Amityville, New York, a serene community nestled along the southern shore of Long Island. The town's name, derived from the Latin word for friendship, seemed to promise peace and tranquility. But for one family, the Lutzes, Amityville would become synonymous with horror. It was December 18, 1975, when George and Kathy Lutz, along with Kathy's 3 children from a previous marriage, Daniel, Christopher, and Missy, moved into their new home at 112 Ocean Avenue. The Dutch colonial house was a dream come true for the young family. With its iconic gambrel roof, large windows, and spacious interior, it was the perfect place to start anew. But what the Lutzes didn't know was that their dream home harbored a dark and malevolent secret. Just over a year before, on November 13, 1974, the house had been the scene of a gruesome mass murder. Ronald DeFeo Jr., a troubled young man, had brutally murdered his parents and 4 siblings as they slept. The DeFeo murders shocked the quiet community and left an indelible stain on the house at 112 Ocean Avenue. Despite this horrifying history, the Lutzes were undeterred. They believed that love and faith could cleanse the home of its dark past. George and Kathy, both strong in their Catholic faith, even arranged for a priest to bless the house. But as Father Ralph J. Pecoraro, known in accounts as Father Mancuso, began his blessing, something inexplicable happened. Father Mancuso was alone in one of the upstairs bedrooms when he felt an overwhelming sense of dread. The room grew cold, and a disembodied voice hissed, "Get out." Shaken, Father Mancuso quickly finished his blessing and left, advising the Lutzes to avoid that particular room. But the warning would prove futile. From the very first night, the Lutz family experienced phenomena that defied rational explanation. Doors would slam shut of their own accord, strange odors would permeate the house, and cold spots would appear in certain rooms. George, a former Marine with a logical mind, struggled to make sense of the bizarre occurrences. He found himself waking up at 3:15 a.m. every night, the exact time the DeFeo murders were believed to have occurred. The family's German shepherd, Harry, would bark incessantly at nothing, as if sensing a presence unseen by human eyes. The children began to have terrifying nightmares, and young Missy started talking to an imaginary friend named Jody, a friend she described as a pig with glowing red eyes. One night, George was startled by the sight of Missy's bedroom window opening on its own. Rushing to her room, he found her calmly staring out at the night, talking to Jody. When George asked her what she was doing, she simply replied, "Jody wants to come in." As the days turned into weeks, the paranormal activity escalated. Kathy began to feel as though she was being touched by invisible hands. She would wake up with strange welts and scratches on her body. The most disturbing incident occurred when she looked into a mirror and saw an old woman staring back at her, an old woman with a malevolent smile. The final straw came when George discovered a hidden room in the basement. Painted entirely red, the room was not listed on the blueprints of the house. It was as if the room had been concealed intentionally. The family's dog, Harry, refused to go near it, barking and growling whenever he was brought close. The Lutzes would later learn that the DeFeo's eldest son, Ronald, had spent much of his time in this very room. Terrified and desperate for answers, George and Kathy reached out to Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators. The Warrens agreed to investigate the house, bringing with them a team of experts and advanced equipment to document the supernatural phenomena. What the Warrens discovered would send shivers down their spines. Lorraine, a clairvoyant, sensed a powerful and malevolent presence in the house. She described it as an inhuman spirit, a demonic force that had latched onto the DeFeo family and now threatened the Lutzes. During their investigation, the team captured chilling evidence, photos of ghostly figures, strange anomalies, and recordings of eerie voices. The Warrens concluded that the house was a portal to the spirit world, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead was dangerously thin. They advised the Lutzes to leave immediately, warning that the entity in the house would not rest until it had claimed their souls. On January 14, 1976, after just 28 days in the house, the Lutz family fled in the middle of the night, leaving all their possessions behind. They would never return. The story of the Amityville Horror captivated the nation. Books were written, movies were made, and the house at 112 Ocean Avenue became a symbol of supernatural terror. But for the Lutzes, the nightmare was all too real. They would spend the rest of their lives trying to escape the trauma of what they had experienced. Skeptics have debated the veracity of the Lutzes' story for decades, suggesting that it was a hoax, a fabrication designed to make money. But for those who lived through it, the horror was undeniable. George and Kathy Lutz maintained until their dying days that everything they described was true. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue still stands, albeit with a new address and owners. The windows have been changed, and the exterior remodeled in an attempt to distance it from its dark past. But those who pass by it still feel a chill, a lingering sense of dread. The events of those 28 days left an indelible mark on the house, a scar that time cannot heal. Thank you for joining us on this journey. As always, stay tuned for more tales of the eerie and unsettling, right here on Wicked Whispers.